This is Raising Bosses. I'm your host, Shauna J. Ray, and on this podcast, it's a space for parents, dreamers, and entrepreneurs who believe that nurturing a family and building success can go hand in hand. These are real stories, heartfelt strategies, and a reminder that your family and your goals can grow together. So stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Shauna J. Ray. I'm back on here with Raising Bosses. I'm so glad I could come back on here. I've been saying for years I was going to come back on here. So I've restarted the podcast. This podcast, Raising Bosses, started as something where I could get on here and talk to you guys about all the different things that I do, things that I thought would be helpful for other people to know that I'm always trying to kind of explain to people. But I also wanted to be able to get in there with other entrepreneurs that were also parents. So that's where it really started off. I slowly started to branch into speaking to younger entrepreneurs in general, like the other side of things. They are now young adults. They're, getting their business together, starting things, doing things regularly. So that's where it all started. And life definitely happened, and I came off course with this podcast, but I wanted to get back on here again. And that's what I do. I always restart, re-go, and there's been a lot of restarts in my life in the last just few months and the last few years. So I'm just going to kind of brief you guys right now while I go into it. So we're going to be expanding on the podcast as well. So we're going to be speaking to more entrepreneurs, of course, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things. And I want to start doing live podcasts with you guys too. That will be on YouTube and things like that. So you'll be able to actually chime in video if you choose to. And I want to get on here and really talk to you guys. I'm going to share some things about my life. I'm going to share things about, business, expansion, a lot of things that I've done, a lot of things that I want to do. I'm always coming on here and sharing with you guys. So I'm definitely excited about that. We're going to be bringing up older episodes. So make sure you guys have listened to the previous episodes. We're restarting with this one. Make sure you guys have chimed in. If you guys have questions, make sure you guys are DMing me too. Make sure you guys are following the page on Facebook and on Instagram. It's Raising Bosses, of course. So you guys can check that out. I'm going to get into a lot here in this first episode. I'm just going to brief you guys really so you know what to look out for in the next few episodes. And I'm going to try and really keep consistent with this again. And I've got a lot to just pump out on my own. And so I've opened this up for more interviews too, guys. So we'll talk more about that throughout this episode as well. So basically, I started this podcast years and years and years ago. About 6-7 years ago, I started this podcast for that reason. And it really was something that was inspirational to me because I got to share other people's stories. I got to learn. I got to ask questions. That's what I love doing here. I would inspire them as well. I've had many people come on this podcast and get a little tidbit and fly with it. And I know I was doing a good job, something good for the community, or if you could call it that, good for people. And also the people listening to this also will find the same inspiration as well, or that's what the idea is here. So make sure you keep listening, guys. But yeah, so I was... Excuse me, guys. I've lost my voice a little bit, but I'm still going to come on here, guys. Hopefully it's not too aggravating to hear this. But basically, a few years ago, I started this. I have my 2 little girls. They're not little anymore. They are, at the recording time here, they are 16 and 10 at this moment. I think I started when they were 8. My oldest was 8. My youngest must have been 4 or so. So that sounds about right, about 10 years. Or 6 years, yeah. So I started this. I did everything with my kids. They were homeschooled and everything like that. So I was married, and so spoiler, guys, I got divorced in the last few years, but I was married, and I lived the life that I wanted to live. I had my kids the way I wanted to have my kids. We had our dog and everything. And we went through some things that I had a lot of transition during the last 2 years of the marriage. We ended up traveling with him for work. And as good of a situation as I tried to make it, or the best situation that I tried to make out of it, the situations that arise around it at the time were, humbling and like, I don't know how else to call it. Like, we went through a lot, but we made it work. And, not getting into too much detail here now, but, throughout the podcast, I will get more in detail about it. But basically, we weren't in a good situation, but we made the best out of it and it worked out for us. And in the times before that, there were some other transitions for the better, really, and other things that just kind of kept me stagnant. One of them, maybe not stagnant because I don't stay still, but I didn't have a car. So my car went to the shop one day and came back worse, and I was never able to afford to get it fixed properly. So that transition, like I'll tell you guys throughout it, that was a big one, but we made it work. So we traveled with my ex-husband for about a year. I think it was almost exactly a year, to be honest, because it was like October to October. And there was just a turning point for me that I knew I could not do it anymore. So we separated, and I'll just say it like this, guys. It's been nothing but chaos since. And the only thing that I want is everything to be peaceful, because it doesn't have to be any way else. So, like I said, guys, I'll get more into details little by little. This is just a little bit of a briefing so you guys know what's going on. So that was a huge transition for me, obviously. Now, since that separation, I've had several other transitions multiple times throughout the last few years. And it has come to a point of I'm finally restarting back over. And it has been a huge struggle. I have had a car for about a year now, so that was a good turning point. It's allowed me to do a lot more, get places, make sure my kids are with me when we go places. We've taken road trips. We've, gotten to enjoy the car and do things with it like you should. That's what it's for, riding around. And now I have my own space. So that transition isn't a huge one, honestly, for me, because I'm not sure if I shared, because during the time of me recording my original podcast episodes, my ex-husband at the time was already a travel electrician. So he was out of the house most of the time anyway. It was talked about on, everyone knew that he was gone for stints, months at a time. And sometimes if he was closer, he would, come back for special occasions, holidays and things like that. So, so to say I lived by myself with my kids for a very long time, essentially, or as you could kind of get to. So in that sense, I am very used to it. And now this space is mine. So now the transition is different. It's more peaceful for me because I'm able to do the things that I want to have around me in a certain way. So, in that sense, I'm just really pleased with the situation, because through all my transitions, in life, I will say, I've always been that way. I like change. Change will work out eventually, or change will work out for the better, whatever the situation is. So even when change is hard, I go into it very, very good. And I just know that the transition part was extremely hard, but it was worth it. And it was hard for reasons that I don't even know how to put it into words. I guess it's just going to come out when I start sharing. You guys will understand a little bit better. But yeah, so that I've had a lot of transitions. All this has happened in the last 3 years. So I've had quite a few transitions, and I've had this podcast in mind since probably 2 years before that, to get back onto it. I probably had only stopped for a few months at that time, or a year or so. And I know how good it feels to get out here and be able to just talk to you guys and know that you guys are listening and you guys are resonating with the things I say. I'm helping people, I'm inspiring people. So it's been a big deal for me to get back into this. So now with this new this more recent transition, I am more settled than I have been in a very, very long time, guys, as I just said, and to go as far back as about 5 years ago. So that situation where we were traveling with him for a year, that happened 4 years ago. So 4 to 5 years ago. So I haven't been settled in a way in a very long time. So now that I'm settled in a way, I want to get back to my consistency with you guys. I'm always saying this, but I come back and I go get it done again. But basically, I want to get on here and get back to my consistency, get back to sharing again. So I restarted everything, guys. So through all these transition, funds can be tight, and I'll be honest with you guys, they still are. And that's okay, because things are getting better and they will only continue to get better. So I've been inspired. I'm more ready to do this. So getting back on here definitely is something that I was happy to do. And then so my hosting site I originally hosted on, I turned on a pro plan and I was really excited, but when funds got tight, wasn't able to afford it. So they deleted my podcast, guys. I was syndicated on everything. Okay. I was syndicated on every major platform and some of the smaller ones. And you couldn't stop finding me. And I was very sad about that. So I was sad about it, but I knew I could refresh it. Then I got into my computer and all of my devices. And guess what, guys? None of the digital files were there because this is how life works, right? My hard drive, I used to use an external hard drive for my old computer because it was just a really big capacity hard drive. But I ruined it. I have to get somebody to look at it to figure out how to fix the situation. Maybe I need to add ChatGPT, because I haven't done that yet. But anyway, so I'm pretty sure the files are in that hard drive that I can't get into. No biggie, right? So I can't get into those files, but the podcast, the last thing I did with the podcast was I did put it on YouTube. And guys, so let me just explain to you the level of difficulty I went to get back this podcast in here. Okay. So I've got great new hosting, right? So we're good to go on the hosting. I won't have to worry about this getting deleted, hopefully anytime. And for the podcast being on YouTube, I don't pay for the subscription. So I had to download it and then download the MP3 files and then load them all back up on the new hosting site and then re-syndicate this. So please enjoy this podcast, guys. Please share too, because I want more people to hear this as well. I want more people on here to enjoy this podcast with us. But yeah, so I got on here and reloaded everything up, and I'm still in the process of syndicating out like I had it before. So thanks for wherever you're listening to this on. But yeah, so I'm glad to be able to do this again, and I plan on getting my consistency up. And even right now, I'm recording like I used to on my microphone plugged into my computer. However, I may take this on my phone and use another mic. So sometimes, guys, the quality might not be as good, or might sound a little bit different because I'll be different mics. I'll be on my phone, things like that. But I just want to keep the consistency up so I can, whenever I have a chance, I can just get on here and talk to you guys and really make sure that you guys are getting everything. I'm like, if you guys saw my notes, I always keep a notebook, and my notes are just flowing out of my head, things I've always wanted to talk about. And then let's just talk about the transition of the world. There are things that I'm going to talk about that are things I've wanted to talk about that I haven't gotten a chance to do an episode on this podcast. And there are new things that have arisen because here we are, 2025, about to be 2026, guys. So it is Thanksgiving, I'm recording this on 2025 right now. So we are about to go into 2026. So you guys see there are so many new changes. If you guys are an old listener, you guys will know the changes when I start talking about them. And in those transitions, so let's pep up the talk a little bit. So I just want you guys to know too, that when I talk about my divorce, when I talk about my separation, this is not a sadness talk. And I will continue to get into that as well in my podcast, because I want you guys to know that, again, like I said earlier, every change is not a bad change. And I understand that other people go through these changes for different reasons, of course, and I understand wholeheartedly there are so many varied variables that would, help facilitate that. So I will be cautious when I say that, but in my case, I'm going to let you guys know this is not in a sadness way. This is in a growth way. I want to talk about this in a positive and a growth way. So with those transitions that I spoke on, that I know I haven't fully detailed you guys, I did do a lot of things in the last 3 years that I have always wanted to do. Okay. There are things that I've always wanted to do that I've touched on. There's things that I've always wanted to do that I did when I was married and things like that. And I always preface this. I don't know if I've said this. I probably have said this on a couple episodes. I don't remember. But my children have never held me back from anything. I was a young mom, and I also was someone that just pushed forward and just wanted to do things anyway. So no one can hold me back. I don't believe in that. And my children, I've always been able to take them along with me for the most part, I always made my timing, my scheduling and things like that always around what my kids. So a lot of times I'd be able to keep my kids close by, or I made something where my kids would be able to be close by. So with that, I made sure that I did things all throughout. So I never held back. However, when you are in situations where they're probably not the ideal situation for you, you'll notice that things are a little slower for you. Things don't work out as well for you. So I'm going to speak on something that's not business related, but it is a part of what I'm getting at right now. When I was younger, I did have not really print modeling or anything like that, but I got into kind of modeling, being behind a camera type of thing, or in front of a camera, I guess. So modeling, I started modeling in high school, and people used to always tell me, oh, you should be a model, right? And I'm like, I would love to do that. I love to do anything that's creative. I love to do anything like that. So very interesting for me. But when I was married, I took a time where I actually pursued it. I actively pursued it. And you can still say that it maybe just wasn't my time, but I like to think that it's everything happens in its time for reasons. So, and also, you open up your blessings in the world. However, I was pursuing it actively. I was on groups like I like to preach to everyone. I was going and doing all of these things to make sure that I could, get into the community. And when I lost my car, so I'm going to reference this a lot. Like I said, guys, when I lost my car, we lived so far and I had nobody around me. Nobody. I had no friends out where I was. All my friends were over an hour away from me. Everybody that I knew was over an hour away from me, and I didn't have my own car. So I wasn't able to make those trips to go places, especially living outside of the major city. So I wasn't able to pursue it. So I kind of put it on the back burner, because I don't want to say gave up. I just figured when I get a car again, when I move closer to the city, I'll take time, and put in effort for it. So during the transition, I actually went to stay with a friend, and we went to a fashion show, which was really funny because I was going over there and this fashion show just happened to be that weekend. And I was so glad we mutually knew one of the fashion designers, and they'd convinced them to let me walk in the show, and I was really excited about that. I met a lot of wonderful women. I met even a few of the male models there that, even till this day, I, see and interact and get to like do work with and things like that. But I walked in there. It was a great experience. It's like the third time I've ever walked on the runway. I actually walked on the runway for this exact same designer like 10 years prior to this. So it was one of those full circle moments. Really happy about it. Well, one thing led to another. Other models introduced us to another stylist. I love her. Shout out to Miss Alicia. She has been a part of my growth. I will have her on the podcast because she has been an inspiration since that day. So not maybe a couple of days later, we met up with her. And it was a great experience. I got to walk in her show. And since then, I've walked in several. But yeah, so I started out with her and got to do shows and photo shoots. She's always doing something amazing. I've just recently walked in a show with her just a few weeks ago. And again, I will have her on my podcast. And you guys can check out my actual personal page, Shauna J. Ray. And you'll see some of the things that I've done with her. So yes, I just want to give her a quick shout out for that. But yeah, so working with her was another extension. And because of the community in Orlando is, I would say, small, that since the first fashion show and since meeting her, I've melded with a lot of different people. So, each one teach one, if you will. So people are always sharing. People are, hey, are you going to go to this? Or are you going to that? This is coming up. So for the first year, I did things sporadically and stuff like that. And it's year 2. So, we're still going. I'm happy to say. And I do plan on keep pursuing it. So, so that door opened up, and in that year, there was several more transitions, and now, fast forward, it's, 6 months, I've been here and getting settled. I have been doing more now. As we speak, as of right now, I'm not, super famous or anything like that, obviously. However, it's just the transition of pursuing it so hard and not being able to. And then finally, I'm in a situation where it's feeling given to me, but it's not given to me because I'm putting in the work. I'm showing up. I'm doing these things. And that's just a little tidbit to show that the transitions have ended in a good way for me. The transitions have put me in situations that lead me to things that I've wanted to do. Now, the segue to that, because I just wanted to share that fun story with you guys, because sometimes things just kind of work out. And I know, again, like I said, sometimes it just feels like some things, it's like, oh, well, it was just your time and, things like that. But I didn't really pursue it in a certain way, and I continue to broaden it. And now I'm trying my best to pursue it in my best time. So that's why that's one fun story with that. And I want to inspire people to let them know, like, keep pursuing what you want. Keep putting yourself into situations where it can lead you into similar things. Whatever it is you might be thinking, say, you get those opportunities. If it's safe, if it's something that you are able to do and accomplish, you should. I really believe that you should, because if nothing is in your way, or if it's something that you can be like, oh, okay, like, oh, I have to just find a babysitter for the kids, or, oh, I have to, get an Uber that day. I just have to, make sure I have this Uber money or something. If it's something like that and you can, find a way, try to find a way, because I guarantee you it's usually up from those type of situations. So with these transitions, all in the last 3 years, actually I think I'm in year 2 or ending year 2 right now. I wanted to update you guys. If you guys are following me already, you will know, but I became a notary. That was one of the first steps, to be honest, guys. So all this happened in the last year and a half, I believe. I think we're at a year and a half right now. We're in the second year of my notary commission. And so definitely, guys, let me know if you need any notarizations. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit here, and then we're going to get more in detailed. Again, check out my page. So the name of my business is Secured Signature Mobile Notary. And you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I also, even though my TikTok is Shauna J. Ray, I also post the videos on there as well and on YouTube. So you guys will see them. But so I became a notary. So backstory, right, real quick. As a child, I remember learning about notaries, going to notary appointments, and just thinking it was very interesting, like going to somebody's house and then I'd see them stamp something and then like they get paid. That's my earliest knowledge. I was probably in elementary school, maybe a little bit older, like starting at middle school, right? So I remember that. I remember being like, that would be cool. I think I would do that as an adult. So a few years ago, back when I was married, it was one of those things that I kind of heard about here and there. Nothing intense. I knew some people were just notaries, and I remember my ex-husband's father is a notary. He notarized things for us before and things like that. So I just remember thinking, like, isn't this one of those skills that you can like get like paid for? Like, but I guess he just does it for because I think, it was one of those things that you get with work or something like that. And he just kept it up to help family and friends, which I get. But me, I'm always thinking like marketing and sales and how can I tell the world about this? If you guys have listened to the earlier podcast, you'll know. Any of my YouTube videos, you'll know. So that was just my thought process, was like, that's interesting. Like he has that's really interesting. I wonder, like, he was the closest person I knew, and that got my cogs turning, and I was in my mid-20s at that time. So now fast forwarding to the separation, I stayed with my mom for some time of the beginning of the separation, and her next door neighbor was a notary, and she was so understanding that during the divorce proceedings, if you guys didn't know, I want to just preface this again, now being a notary as well, this was another inspiring moment for my notaryhood, I guess you could say. But I needed a notary, and I was getting my lawyer the information, and since she was next door, she would do the notarizations for me. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, you're saving me so much money. And I'd have to use my mom's car to go to the store, wherever I had to go to this notary. She was just saving me so much time and energy. And I'd literally just walk like next door. She'd do it right then and there immediately. She was, home at those times perfectly. I'd get those documents back fast. So that was like a really positive experience. And so I kept pondering in this new time frame. I kept pondering, maybe I should become a notary. No real background or basis behind it, just because I knew that I would want to put it into the atmosphere so more people would know and I could make it work for me. And I decided against that. I dabbled at it for a second. I looked at it. I made my kind of thought process and was like, okay, I'll come back to this. So instead, I decided I was going to be a real estate agent. Now, backstory is similar kind of as a child. The moms in the movies are always like successful real estate agents and marketing executives of some sort, right? Ads and things like that. And I've always thought that was interesting. I was actually raised a lot with marketing and stuff like that. But I've gotten into this a little bit. I will get into that more as well, my background in marketing. And so I just was like, I think I'll just be a real estate agent. I think that's a great idea because then I can, sell houses and things like that. So I paid for the course, and I did half the course. And then the next transition came, and I kind of fell off. I fell off from a lot of things on my own because I felt like I could take a breather at that moment. My nervous system felt at ease at that point. And I kind of went for a few weeks into a mode of like 2 or 3 weeks of just kind of being like, okay, my brain is off. I'm going to relax in this because I need this. I haven't had this in so long. I need to relax in this so I can go back and restart stronger, That's usually what I do, guys. I have my reset days, my weeks of reset. Something, might fall, quote unquote, to the wayside, if you will. But then I have, something I come back on. So yeah. So I started the course, fell off, and it expires after whatever length of time. So in the next transition, I figured, actually, what makes more sense? Let me become a notary real quick because it's cheaper, it's shorter amount of time, and you can start pretty much immediately. And I'll get more into that in another episode. But basically, I did what I usually do and I jumped. So I did the notary and started it up in 2024, I believe. 2024. Forgive me, guys. I don't even remember my commission. Yeah, 2024. So I started it, and I became a notary and started up. When I did the notary thing, I actually set up my website, waiting for everything. Like before I actually filed everything, because I was waiting for a paycheck to pay for the commission thing and everything. And while I was waiting for it, I set up everything. So I said, you know what? While I'm doing all this, I can't even do anything right now. I've gotten all the paperwork together, but I got to wait for the money. So I set up my Canva stuff and all this, right? So I started my notary accounts and things like that. Slowly but surely, some things I didn't do automatically. And I started it up and, I started getting business. And it wasn't exponential or anything, but just the simple fact that I was getting business, I was proud of myself. And I usually do that. Like, we have to do the little wins as well. But the big win is coming with something like that. Like one customer a week was probably my average at that point. So when I got my commission, like all the stuff to start working, I was like, okay, now I have to actually like start my stuff, like posting and stuff, and my Google business page, and I gotta actually start stuff up. So I went back into my computer, and I looked and I said, wait a minute, everything's done. I've already finished building out everything. All I have to do is actually start. I was so like, wow. So that I say to you guys, if it is something that you want to start, I always tell you guys to start with what you have. Where can you start? Like, you don't have to have everything together to just get something together, because by the time you're ready to jump, you are going to be ready and prepared more than ever. Because if I sat back and I said, oh, I'll wait until I get my commission, then I'll make my accounts and do all of this, I would have had to have my commission, and now I have to get all of these things together, and then I have to post, and then I have to get, you know what I mean? But instead it was like almost start, boom, a week later business. So that was like really telling for me. And because I like to be like, okay, this is motivating, I kept going. Now, before I became a notary, I didn't know about loan signings and things like that. So I started learning about loan signings. And again, I said, let me jump. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the loan signing. So a month later, I got my loan signing, my certification, and I did the course and things like that. And I got my certification, and I joined all the signing services. And another thing that I do too, guys, I don't know if I talk about it on here, but one of the things I like to do is submerge myself in learning about the thing that I'm interested in. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, whatever. And I just immerse myself, audiobooks. I just immerse myself in it. So that when the knowledge is actually needed or usable, I actually know what I'm doing by that point, or at least I'm like more versed in understanding. So I did do all of those things too. So I knew what to do. I had already started the business aspect of it, of like posting and letting people know I was there. So that panned out for me as well. So again, I am still in what I would consider my growth stage. So, and there's been some transitions too. I won't get into detail right now, but you'll know they're coming in the next episodes, guys. But yeah, so became a notary, became a loan signing agent within a month after getting my commission. And so in April, March of 2004, and then April of 2024, excuse me, guys, I got my loan signing commission certification. So after I did that, I found like other little things. And I told you guys, I'm one of those people, I'm like, let's go. I want to find all the different ways to make money on this. And I started learning about all the side hustles with being a notary, because as a notary, just a plain stamp the paper, sign documents, it's not something that is sustainable as a full-time position to like actually live off of. So just like anything, guys, I don't know if I told you this, I'm always doing multiple things. I've never just done one thing. And it doesn't mean I've had multiple jobs, even though I've had time frames where I've had multiple jobs, and that happens too, and nothing's wrong with that. But I'm saying side hustles that you control. So make sure you guys are starting those whenever you can. And I'm here to give you more inspiration. But yeah, so I started learning about all the side hustles. So I made sure I got into all the side hustles as much as possible. And there's still a few that I haven't done, and there's still some that I'm just like, I probably won't do, but I'm just going to like get you guys understanding what I do, and just briefly, but I am going to elaborate more. So as a notary in Florida, you are able to officiate weddings. So I did start posting about it. And I actually did one wedding on Valentine's Day of 2024, or of 2025, excuse me. I did my first wedding, and I'm still looking for more people to marry and officiate weddings. So I still put it out there, but that's just one that comes with the territory, right? So I found out that becoming a minister broadens the scale of what you can do and where. So I also became a minister, and I love the idea because it fits in with my kind of, I'll preface it with like flower child, fairy type of vibe. I want to help. I want to see you on your milestones. I want to be a part of your growth. Okay, guys. So being a minister now, I'm able to marry you anywhere in the United States. And I'm also able to do other types of milestone celebrations and ceremonies. So I'm really excited about that. That's like vow renewals, blessings, house blessings, baby blessings, name ceremonies, uniting ceremonies of all persuasions. I do all of that, and I'd love to be a part of yours if you guys would love like to. Just putting that one out there. Field inspections. I've never actually done a field inspection, but that is one that I would like to get into, and it just hasn't panned out with what I've tried. Then there is fingerprinting. So I added fingerprinting to my repertoire as well. And I will be going into detail in other episodes on exactly how I did certain things. I'm just trying to go over what I do. But some of these things you do need to pay money and get courses or take tests. And some of these things are free. Some of these things are quick and simple. Some of these things are a little bit more elaborate, but then, it's pretty simple too. So, yeah. So another thing that, so fingerprinting, so ink fingerprinting I got into. If I ever get the money up for it or the means to do digital, I will do those as well. I'm also a online notary as well. So that's something that is, you have to be a regular notary, and then it's another like additional thing. So I'm online. So a lot of people don't know you can notarize online. And I'm so glad. I like to press that a lot because it's so much more convenient. I'm convenient because I'm mobile either way. So I'll come out to you. But like certain circumstances, I've been able to do things virtually. So I like to keep that in mind, especially with the loan signing. And again, loan signing is one of the side hustles, guys. So loan signings also I can do online as well. And I'm going through the lineup, and I'm just like, what else? So court reporting is actually the next thing I want to get into as a true crime buff myself. I've heard other people say things like that, like, not saying I'm going to be in people's business, but I just like the aspect of being in those type of atmospheres. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. But it's another side hustle, and I'll be getting into that. I know for sure I'm getting into that soon. And I'll be excited to share when I do, and I'll share the process as I go through it too with you guys. And I'll probably have a community where you guys can, be a part of the BTS. That's what I plan on doing here too. So stay tuned for that as well, is having somewhere you guys can come and see what I've got going on and be a part of the steps of it, So yeah, court reporting is another one that's a good one to do because, being a notary, you can swear people in the court. So they need notaries occasionally in the court, so you can double duty on that, So, and also I want to set out to say about court reporting, just in case I have any interested people out there as well, is that you can do it you can do it remotely, or you can actually go to the courtroom. So, and then there's a few other options in between. I'm going to be looking into that. So, another one is what else have I gotten into, guys? Forgive me. I should have probably wrote that part of the list out, right? I did not put this in my outline, but and I do so much. Oh, I don't talk about this enough. I also added concierge services. So I also want to be a place where you guys can come and get things done, like get errands taken care of, get things scheduled, events taken care of, not in an event planner way, but in like a coordinator, like, hey, I got the venue secured, whatever, you don't have to deal with those things. I deal with them. I get the people for you to deal with them. I get you the wedding planner, and, I work with the wedding planner to facilitate all these other things type of situation. So I don't talk about that one enough. That is just a regular side hustle kind of thing. But it was something that factored into what I was doing with my notary account. I feel like I'm missing a bunch of stuff right now, guys. There is permit running. I haven't gotten into that yet, but I want to. That is where you run permits for like different things for the construction people. So when you do the construction permits, and that's something else I haven't gotten into. But there's a whole bunch of different things I do on top of that. Since becoming a notary, I have just added to my repertoire. I keep adding things, because you do have to diversify, eggs in baskets and things like that. So, but it's fun because it all coordinates. So now, guys, this one's going to be a circle back comments, because you guys heard in the beginning all my transitions and things like that. So after almost a year of being a notary, I doubled back to looking into real estate, because now I'm a loan signing agent. I was like, I felt more confident finishing the course. The course had it where I could buy the course back for a month. I think it was like 3 months, or the whole like 6 months again. I think it's like 6 months or something. So I said, you know what? I was already halfway through. Give me a month. So I paid for the month. Of course, it was cheaper. That was also another thing. Paid for the month. I refreshed on what I did already, and then I went right back through the course. I also got one of those like programs to like help study, like a study guide, as well, from a realtor on Instagram that I just thought was very inspirational, a young lady on here. And so I gave myself a month, and I said, you know what, I am gonna just do it, because why not? I set it up, started studying, went and took the test, and there's a whole bunch of steps and processes becoming a notary, becoming a real estate agent, like paperwork wise. There's of course the course, you have to study and take the test and things like that, but there's a whole bunch of paperwork and process and stuff. So I did all of that. And the day that, either it was the day I got my test done, when I saw the passing score, I was so proud of myself. I passed the first time, and I was like, wow. And I think it was like 6 months later, so like probably 6 months ago, I realized that it had been exactly a year since I became a notary. Like, I didn't plan it or anything like that, but it had been exactly a year. And I was just shocked at myself. I was like, wow, I built a whole notary business. I started all these extra pieces, like all these extras on top of being just a notary to begin with. And now I am a real estate agent. So I am still a real estate agent, and have been, it's been 6 months. So, or so. And sadly, with these transitions, like I said, money got tight, and was not able to get my realtor's license for the brokerage I'm with. And that's actually my current state right now. Like last week or something like that, I went inactive because they're like, hey, where's your realtors association? And that was literally the last thing. Like, I'm a real estate agent, I've got my license, all these things, but I'm not able to practice because I don't have what my brokerage needs me to have. So I'm working on that, guys. Like I said, everything is going to go up from here. I'm getting back on here to share and inspire and just roll with the punches. So that's where I stand on my realtor's license, or my real estate license. But I just say that to say, hey, I did exactly what I wanted to do. In the transition, in the hardest times, I became a notary, I became a real estate agent, I added all these things. And so in due time, right? When I'm one of those people that like, I have to always be doing something. So like whenever I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to focus on something. I need to complete something. That was one of the things. So that's a little update for that. And I will be talking a lot about my notaryship because that is my business that I do besides my brand of Shauna J. Ray. Of course, if you guys know, I started as a brand of Shauna J. Ray, which I still have. That's my like online persona. That's my real me, but just kind of sharing me with you guys. And then we have my Raising Bosses, which is this podcast. And I did have a blog as well. And I was thinking about it today before I got on this podcast. And I'm like, I got to see if I can get that blog back up too and revamp it a bit. So you guys watch out for that as well. And of course, I'm going to tell you about it. But yeah, so I've become a notary. I'm a real estate agent. I'm doing these things. I'm still building everything, guys, because I'm not stopping. And I like to say that with what I do as a notary and everything, I can help you from birth till the day you meet them, until the day you go back home. And I can help you through all your life's transitions, milestones. I really love that factor because I will have clientele, that will be with me in that sense. Maybe their parents worked with me and then they might be a teenager. I will be a notary. I will continue to be a notary. And I advise that if you have any inkling to be a notary, do it. And follow along with me because I will, share with you ways that have helped me. And a lot of the things that I share too, guys, because I've done so many things with different, services, products, whatever. A lot of this stuff is applicable to any business, any entrepreneurial side hustle, things like that. So take that into account. And I was a content creator initially first. So if content creation is your thing too, I can give you tidbits on that as well. And content creation still goes into business now, especially in this day and age. So I'll be talking about a lot of that, guys. I got some fun and amazing things for you guys. I've been telling you guys I'm going to do digital products and courses and things like that. So I do have a few ebooks up I just want to touch on, and I'll leave the links below, of course. So not that you have to be a notary to utilize my products, but I do have them geared more toward notary things that would work better for us. I've got some ebooks and checklists and some great products for you guys to check out and enjoy and learn with and grow from. So check that out. I'll leave that down. It's on Gumroad. You guys can check out the stuff on there. I'm going to leave the link for the store below. Hopefully you guys will find value in what I have to show you guys. And a part of that is that I also want to provide coaching because I'm coming on here anyway. You guys are getting the tidbit, but maybe you need more personalized help. Maybe you want more personalized, one-on-one. So I do want to tell you guys, I am offering coaching. It is on my Gumroad. You guys will see it in the link if you guys want to get a coaching with me. So my coaching is more business, obviously, direction. However, I do have it's still business. So content creation, if you want to be a content creator, if you're a business and you're trying to factor in content creation, that's basically where I'm going with this. It's not like a life coach type of situation or business coach, really. It's more like, I guess it's kind of like a business coach. I don't know. You guys tell me, but I want to coach you guys because if you find something I do valuable or you want to know more, I want to be able to help you there. If you find that maybe there's something that you like that resonates, I want to talk to you about it and see if it can spark you to grow and push forward. So definitely keep that in mind, and I'm going to talk about that through as well. And I have courses coming out as well, so guys, stick around for that. Now, also, because I have restarted this platform again, I want to open up for interviews. Now, it is going to be business related, but business on this channel is very open. And being that I am a content creator, and I've been in that space, I love having all walks, because down to, the, person that built, I don't know, accounting business or something. Like, I don't know how else to flex it to you guys, but basically, if you're a freelancer, if you're a content creator, if you're doing those things, I want to talk to you. I really want to keep the element of parents on here, okay? Because family, that sort of thing. And that's not to say you can't, be a single person or not have kids. It's just to say that that's going to be a huge basis. But I always used to tell you guys, you don't need a parent. You don't need to be a parent to take away from this podcast. It's not like only for parents either, because either way, the business talk, it's just about that balance. You know what I mean? It's just about how did you persevere being that you're in this situation, or not in this situation, but you have this type of situation in your background. So that's why I keep that element. But I still want to talk to you guys, because every element helps. Every element grows us all. So you may be someone that has a story of your childhood, just like I kind of briefed you guys here. Like, in your childhood, this is what helped you grow to what you are now. I want to talk to all of you guys. And I also want to make sure all my young, entrepreneurs fresh from home, like the younger ones, like how they've been building since they've been younger. I want to talk to you guys a lot too. And again, just any of your businesses, because there's somebody out there that's also either thinking about growing a business similar, in the middle of growing a business like that, or trying to better a business similar to yours. So I want to hear from you guys. That's why I want to talk to a broad, collective. If you look on here, we talk to all walks of life. So I love that. And I want to keep that open. I will include a link as well for you guys to check, so you guys can sign up and tell me a little bit about, your business and things like that, so we can get started on our next interview. And also, I want to say this because this is going to be a part of the next few months of my life, and hopefully continue on with other opportunities similar to this. But I entered myself in a pageant. Not getting into the backstory, but I did it once as a child, and I've always wanted to do it. And more recently, I've wanted to do it, but I really didn't know how to get into it. And I had a friend that was in something that I don't feel that I'm, how do you call it? I don't think I don't meet the requirements yet for what she was in. And I've been inspired since she did it. And one of the things that I did for modeling, they opened up for a pageant. So I'm happy to say I am contestant number 2 representing Jamaica for the Orlando Carnival Queen. And you guys can check it out on the 7th of March, 2026 is when the actual pageant will be taking place. There are a whole bunch of things that we are doing in between, of course. I'll keep posting on my personal social media as well, Shauna J. Ray. So you guys can see updates there as well. And I'll chime in every now and again about it here as well. And it would, of course, be helpful to support this podcast and or to support my new pageant journey. And I want to explain to you guys, as I go through this podcast, I'll tell you more about my transitions, but I was in some major transitions, like I said, in the last few months and just the last few years. But the last few months getting into this pageant was something that I knew that was going to be a growth thing for me, an opportunity. And it was, like I said earlier, it was something that I was able to do. So I made sure I did it, and I'm so glad I did. I'm a month or 2 in right now, and we've got a few more months to prepare. I'm ambitious. I'm going to be making a lot of things for it and getting myself together, and I'm enjoying the experience as well. I'll have links down below for you guys if you guys want to support, like I said, the podcast and or my journey on this. I would be forever grateful. It would help me keep up with a lot that I have going on, and I will continue to go over with you guys. I want to build a community on here, guys, because I also, with my stories too, I want to inspire you. So as I tell you my transitions, if these things resonate with you partially even, I want to inspire you to know that you can get where you're wanting, and you cannot even know in that instance, just be basically smack dab in the middle of something and end up figuring it out eventually, even though you didn't know where to start to begin with. So I come on here, I tell these stories for that reason. I will get more in depth, and some things, I don't think anything's really too much of a trigger warning type of situation, but these are big transitions that a lot of people have a hard time going through, because one, it's just hard. Two, depending on the background of the situation and the type of support you have around the struggle, means a lot. So I want to come on here and just kind of get that going with you guys, so you guys know that there's a lot to go into this podcast. I'm pouring my heart into it, just like I do everything, and I have to be vulnerable for you guys to know what things I've gone through, so that this isn't just like, oh guys, I woke up one day, I'm a notary, I have a successful podcast, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I want to get into the nitty gritty more for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. And I really appreciate you guys for even chiming in today. And hopefully you'll stay around, because I have, like I said, so much to share with you guys. And I'm sorry this ran a little longer than I had intended. Hopefully you guys loved what you heard. So you will be back. Make sure you are liking the posts and comments and things like that. Please jump in and make sure you're following all the social medias, guys. Shauna J. Ray, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Don't forget Raising Bosses, Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget my secured signature mobile notary. That's on Instagram and Facebook as well, guys. So you guys can check everything out and stay updated about my, just everything else going on as well. So I'm so happy, and I will be back for more, guys. Until next time.